and Englishmen answer to nobody. And therefore, it has to be our fault, and we have to take personal responsibility if we're going to save this country. But if it takes some people to have to go to jail to stop the abuse of our children, then Englishmen should be queuing up to go to jail. And one of the reasons why we're slowly dying is because of weak Englishmen. Weak Englishmen are allowing all of this to happen. And it's easy to blame other people. It's easy to say it's all immigrants' fault. It's easy to say it's the woke ideology, it's Marx's fault, it's this, it's that, it's poor politicians. And that's all correct to a certain extent. But sitting above all that are Englishmen. And Englishmen answer to nobody. And therefore, it has to be our fault. And we have to take personal responsibility if we're going to save this country, save our families, and have a better life. And that's what I've been fighting for now for the last 3-4 years.
So, and I would say I very much agree with what you're saying. And I would say that the system seems to be broken to the extent where it is creating the product of this broken system, broken Britain, is weak men, basically, right? Of course, in this country, predominantly the men are English, in England anyway. So, and so I do agree with you that even if we take the grooming gangs example, like this has been going on for decades and decades and decades. It's not like it's now we should be surprised, oh, this has happened. But why has it been allowed to go on? Because if it's going on for decades, that means it's being allowed to continue for decades, right? And what I always do is I always do condemn, of course, anyone who's involved, anyone in the Pakistani community, and I don't hesitate to condemn. But even I'm thinking, do you know, hold on, if this is going on for decades and someone's allowing it to go on, and the majority of people in this country are not Muslim, they're not Pakistanis, like, come on, like, why are people not manning up, basically, right? And then if you scratch the surface, then you'll see that actually the police officers are involved, social services were involved, and MPs are involved. And all these people are not necessarily Muslims, Pakistanis. This is a network of, I don't know, pedophilia ring or whatever you want to call it. And there's bad stuff going on. People are scratching each other's back, basically. And that's why it's so important. I feel that the good people unite, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a good person, you want well for this country, then look past the race, religion, all that kind of stuff. Just work together, because the people that are out to get all of us, the common person, there are quite a lot of them. And you've mentioned the Black Lives Matter and your experience as an example. And I would say, yes, there are vultures out there. There are bullies, and they are not scared of voicing or having a voice and going after anybody and silencing people. And it will take brave people like yourself, for example, to come out and basically fight back. But for anyone who's listening, Nick can't do it all by himself. We all have a part to play. So can
I just jump in there? Let me give you an example of weak Englishmen about the grooming gangs, because you're absolutely right. We have pedophiles in all organisations, in all religions, in all communities, and I've had quite a few arrested and prosecuted. They're all white men, so we have it in every community. But why did the grooming gangs happen, and why did it happen over 50 years, and why is it not even stopped today? And it's because of weak white Englishmen. The first reason is we were thrown out of our families. You know, single mothers didn't want men in the house because they got more benefits off the state. Feminism told the women that you didn't need a man anymore. It doesn't matter your children need a father. That doesn't matter. It's all about you being strong, independent women. Men allowed that to happen. The girls who were targeted in the grooming gang scandals most of them were targeted because they didn't have a father at home. Because if you don't have a father at home, your natural protector in the world isn't there. And therefore, you're easier prey, you're easy meat. Because if you're messing with a girl who has a father at home, you're potentially risking violence, because you don't know what that father's going to do. I'll tell you what fathers would have done 50 years ago. They'd have took a baseball bat and they would have smashed some people's heads in and gone to jail. That's what would have happened 50 years ago. But what happens today is we have weak Englishmen going, oh, the police arrested me when I tried to get my daughter back and it's not really my fault. And it's like, you're the father. Yes, it is your fault. I'm not saying it's completely your fault, but if it takes some people to have to go to jail to stop the abuse of our children, then Englishmen should be queuing up to go to jail. Because if we cannot protect our children, then what hope have we got for the country. And I'm not calling for violence. I'm not calling for riots, nothing like that. But I know for a fact, if that happened to my daughter, there's nothing in the world that would stop me getting my daughter out of that house. Nothing in the world that would stop me administering some justice to those men involved, regardless of who those men are. But men have become weak. We've become semi-socialists. We're always looking at the state to fix our problems. I pay my taxes. The police should be doing this. No, take some personal responsibility and protect yourself, your children, your family, your community, and your nation. That's what we need men in all nations, but living in this country, that's what we need men to start doing and holding our politicians to account.